What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web on a Monday night. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And, of course, for fans of this show, the Tampa Bay sports fan, especially you Go Bucs fans, it's your time. So how do we start off, hopefully, this good time? Bring the passion, bring our excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, of course, as always, we will talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hope you enjoyed the weekend. We'll go back to that Booger McFarland interview that I had. A lot of great things to break down in it in case you didn't get a chance to see it. Thanks again to DJ UPS for having us out there. Got a lot of great interviews, but I definitely want to go back to that interview if you guys didn't get a chance to see it. We'll also talk about Jamel Dean, yet another Buccaneer having comments, I guess as the kids would say, throwing shade at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll go through that. And then some draft buzz out there with the Bucs having some visits on some of the players that Booger was talking about on Saturday. All that and more here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Facebook stars are open. YouTube super chats. Of course, we will get the sponsorships out of the way. Of course, you like the haircut, you like the fade, you like the beard trim. You don't have to go far. It's Up the Block Barbershop, 4946 Moog Road in Holiday, Florida. Go see my favorite barber, Ricky, and all the talented barbers there at Up the Block Barbershop. And once again, tell them the Rolex reporter, Peter Blake, sent you. And then my new baby right here. If you haven't liked and subscribed to this already, what are you doing, Bucs fans? Every day, 5 days a week on the Fan Arch Network, we give you Bucs content. Now, it's only 10 to 15 minutes. You can't call in. You can comment in. But you get the latest stories of the day about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's called Bucs Latest on the Fan Arch Network. So go like and subscribe. We're nearly to 500 subscribers. Not bad in 3 weeks. Let's get to 1,000. Let's continue to build that channel up. And as always, we'll take your phone calls because that's what we do here on the Sports Web. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Live here on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram Live, and of course, TikTok. Gotta love that. Congratulations to USF. 36 years in the making. As if you're a college basketball fan, you definitely have to give them congratulations for winning the AAC tournament yesterday over Wichita State. So they will face Louisville. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly on Thursday. We'll see what they can do in the first round. And then the Florida Gators, which I can't believe I'm saying this, have a great opportunity to win it all. They will be in Tampa. You heard me correctly, in Tampa, playing a first round tournament game there. So a lot of excitement in the Bay Area. And, of course, the World Baseball Classic. Congratulations to USA, USA, USA for moving on there, beating the Dominican Republic. Of course, the Rays' own Junior Caminero, just impressive. I mean, listen, Rays fans, if you want to get excited about something, forget about the new stadium, although a lot of people can't forget about the old stadium at this point because they're going back to the Trop. But forget about all that. The face of the franchise clearly is Junior Caminero, and he definitely showed out. He showed out last year. I'm looking forward to seeing him. One of our webheads, Alex Nunster, asked me, are you excited about the Tampa Bay Rays? And my answer would be... Of course, I'm excited about baseball season. What are we talking about? What, do I not have a pulse at this point? So it was good to see him on the stage here. Hold on a sec. And then somebody sent me this. Now, this is cool. Listen, this is when you know you've made an impact on somebody's life. Like Alex has given me gifts before and giving me super chats. I've had people here, Realtor David Zuzman, Roger Shue. But somebody actually sent me something in the mail. And I'm going to open it up right now because I'm not sure what this is. So hopefully it's not food because I've already shaken it a couple times. Let me see if I can open this up to see what this is. And this is from our good friend there, Lamar Oglesby, all the way from Portland, Oregon. So Lamar, thank you very much for sending this. Let me see what we got here. Somebody said, go Gators. I guess go Gators. Yeah, we'll say go Gators, but I'll say go Bulls at this point. Let's see what this is as I tear the box. I'm going to open this on air, so hopefully there's no dead ear at this point. Get my workout in for the day. What is this? I don't even know what it is, but we're about to see together. This is what we get here on the Sports Web. What is this? Oh, look at this. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. How about this right here? I think I got something to put on my wall. Look at that right there. Look at that sign right there. That is cool. I think it's got, I don't know what is, I guess it's I guess it would be, you put this on here, you plug this in, and I guess it's a little sign, right? So it's a little light at this point. Very cool. Thank you very much for that. It's always cool to get gifts from people that, again, that are your webheads that call in all the way from Oregon. So right there, a light, you plug it in there USB-wise. So we'll definitely have to work on putting that here in the studio. I think maybe we put it right there. Maybe we move the camera over just a little bit, put it over there. You can see it. Very cool. Thank you very much for that, Lamar. All right, so we'll go back out to these comments as always because you guys are the lifeblood of what this show is all about. We'll read your comments. We'll take your phone calls. We'll open up the phone line at this point. Somebody's sending me something. What is this? Wow. All right. Well, I'm already getting a super chat there. Appreciate you as always, Mr. Alex Nunster, with a $25 send. So thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. Mention his name and he asked me a question and I answered the question. Of course, I'm excited about the Tampa Bay Rays and what's going to happen, especially when it involves a Junior Caminero. Because if you don't like this kid, and he seems like he's the real deal. It doesn't seem like it. I mean, he is the real deal. He was the last one in that dugout last night for his country. That's how much he took it seriously. If you don't like what this kid is putting on the field, then once again, you haven't been a Rays fan for long enough because he certainly looks like the face of this Tampa Bay franchise. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. After the Wander Franco situation, which clearly set this franchise back a couple years. It's always good to have somebody be the face, somebody get you to go out to the ballpark, and hopefully that will draw some people out there. So let's go ahead, go out to the comments here. Tim says, good evening, Peter. Good evening to you. Oh, yeah. Let's go out to KR, Mr. Boy Wonder himself there on YouTube. Evening, Peter and crew. Hopefully we can start to key on some defensive pieces in the draft and maybe get some other vets and free agency, see where it goes. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Wait up, little boy. Wait up. Go Bucs. It's exciting. It is absolutely exciting, Todd. By the way, just a check here, the Todd Bowles watch, as he is still the coach of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How about that? March 16, 2026. What does the great Gene Deckerhoff think about that? Fire the cannon! There you go. All right, so let's go out to King Cook right there. What's good, Peter? Awesome interviews from this weekend. Good to see all the OG Bucks alive and well. Absolutely it is. Thank you very much for watching. Damn it, Jim. Damn it, Jim. What the hell is the matter with you? He says, okay. Trevor Miller says, Jamel Dean can kick rocks barefooted. We'll get to Jamel Dean's comments. And the question for the night, this would be the third Tampa Bay Buccaneer that would have some comments saying in so many words. And we'll start out with that. In any case, of course, we talk about Logan Hall, Mike Evans. But according to Pittsburgh Steelers beat writer Alan Saunders, Dean chose to sign with the Steelers instead of staying in Tampa Bay because of Pittsburgh's winning culture. All we do is win here. I'm at the point of my career where I'm trying to chase another Super Bowl. Well, somebody has to tell Dean this, because this is the problem with Dean. Not to make this real personal, but Dean has a problem with details. Dean has a problem with staying on the field. That's the reason why the Bucs did the restructure in the first place. Congratulations. The Steelers most likely overpaid for you because you can't stay on the field for the majority of the time. But, furthermore, you gotta pay attention to the details, because I think the last time the Steelers won a Super Bowl was in 2008 or 2009. Is that correct? And by the way, the Steelers, the reason why they got rid of Mike Tomlin, because he didn't, of course he walked away, but he was forced out because he couldn't get past the first round, right? So you got a retread coach, and who is it? Mike McCarthy at this point. So he's going to bring more wins than Mike Tomlin? Really? Who's the quarterback there? Is it Aaron Rodgers? I mean, how old is that guy? What is he, 50, 60 years old at this point? That's a winning situation? TJ Watt can't stay healthy. You guys can sit on the bench together. But I guess my question for the night for Bucs fans is you can hear the sarcasm in my voice at this point. How concerned are you with previous Bucs leaving this team and throwing shade, as the kids would say, against this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team, saying they're not a Super Bowl team? Listen, I put it out there. The reason why Mike Evans chose the San Francisco 49ers is because they're in a better position right now on paper to win a Super Bowl. But guess what? Football's not played on paper, because then you would say they're paper champions. Pittsburgh Steelers reference to the Bucs. You remember that? That's way back. If you remember that, you're a Bucs fan. But yeah, football's not played on paper, right? So you've got to play the game. So 1 year you could be what? You could be a bum. And the next year, you could be this. We got the job, baby! I mean, it just turns around just like that. So how concerned are you, Bucs fans, with these recent comments from former players like Logan Hall? What I would say to Bucs fans at this point, and this is my point of contention, is maybe there's a reason why the Bucs didn't re-sign these players in the first place. I mean, if they had that mindset going into it, or coming out of it, or going into it, maybe that's the reason why they lost so many games in the second half of the year. You're basically cutting dead weights. What do we know about Dean? Not to crush this guy, but how many times was he falling over himself when a wide receiver dusted him in his career? As talented as he was, what was he, a third corner and Pro Football Focus, really had a dynamite year because he had, a contract year. But before that, was he able to stay healthy for the majority of the time? Was he able to make tackles all the time? Was he able to have that coverage all the time? And if you said yes, once again, I've got oceanfront property in Arizona, because you're a damn liar at this point.
That's good enough to suck right there.
That's the point. I mean, and Bucs fans being up in arms at this juncture because the Bucs are getting rid of all these players. I mean, you'll sit here and complain that this team went 2-7 in the second half, and you have, very well, you should be able, you can do that. You can do that on the show. You can do it on any show you want to. But then in the same breath, you'll complain because they're not signing the players that contributed to that. So does that make sense, Bucs fans? I hope it does. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So there you go. All right. So let's go out to Christopher Cole. Evening, fellas. Good evening, Peter, says Ben Cornett. Evening to you.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to James. Well, tell you what, let's go out to Trevor. Trevor, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television on a Monday night, my friend. How you doing?
I'm here to bring the passion, to bring the excitement. I'm just not bringing the nonsense.
Thank you very much. Like Jamel Dean did, right? I mean, because the Pittsburgh Steelers, he must be thinking about the 70 Steelers more than the recently Pittsburgh, although consistently they've been out in the first round. So if everybody's contention is, well, the reason why he went there is because that's a winning Well, no, it's like the Bucs. They're out in the first round. Sometimes it's embarrassing with the talent that they have. They don't have a quarterback at this juncture. I mean, I guess it's Aaron Rodgers at this point. I guess they'll have to roll him out there on a wheelchair to start. If you watched him last year, if Mike McCarthy, another retread coach. But yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers, much better situation than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh my gosh, much better. Go ahead, Trevor.
Well, here's the thing about Jamel Dean. I mean, he wants to sit here and talk about a winning culture. He wants to chase another Super Bowl ring. Well, okay, I'll give him his credit. Last year, he had a pretty good year, right? But the couple years before his contract year, if I'm not mistaken, he's talking about chasing a Super Bowl ring. He needed to be focused on chasing the damn receivers because he couldn't cover none of them.
Well, that's the problem. He's probably too busy chasing receivers because they were dusting him like he was the slowest person on, or he had like cement boots.
And then not only that,
right.
Other than that pick six he had against the Jets this past season, he has had the worst hands as a corner on the team.
Stone hands.
Todd Bowles and all the other his teammates used to roast his ass about how bad his hands were. Where he's had like wide open, like easy interception, and he wasn't able to capitalize. I remember in 2021 when we played the Rams in the regular season in LA. He dropped a wide open interception that he probably could have took to the house. Like Matt Stafford, like literally just threw it right at him, and he literally just dropped it. So the point I'm trying to make is, be careful what you wish for. The Steelers, they signed Jamel Dean. They probably say, hey, he had a good year. We're going to go ahead and sign him and everything, and that's fine. But the thing is, he's no longer in the contract year, so good luck playing against a guy that's no longer hungry, in my opinion.
Well, that's it. That's what it comes down to. And listen, he had everything to gain when the Bucs restructured that contract. And look, the writing was on the wall. As good as he was last year, he hasn't been that way, because if he was, the Bucs would have found a way to re-sign him. And that's what I keep on telling Bucs fans. We're like, well, all these players are talking about how bad the Bucs are. And I'm like, wait a minute, disgruntled former employees talking about their job in a bad way. Tell me, also, water is wet and you pay taxes, and you're also going to die. So tell me something I don't know at this juncture. Like, everybody making a big deal about it. And I kind of want to get everybody's opinion on it, because I think there's a narrative that's being put out there right now by some of the fan base that, oh, this is the Titanic and it's about to sink. And I'm saying, listen, let this play out. Let's see what these young guys can do. It's time to turn the page. We can sit here and talk about how Evans left and how it wasn't right and how you're heartbroken, or you can turn the page and see if these young wide receivers are as talented as they were. And guess what? Maybe the Bucs offense is actually, as crazy as this sounds, maybe better, because you don't block the development of an Emeka Egbuka. You don't block the development of a Jalen McMillan. You give Chris Godwin an opportunity to possibly be a number one wide receiver on this team. Tez Johnson, more opportunities. You're not force feeding a Mike Evans. And if Evans wanted that, wanted those catches and wanted those yards, does it make sense to keep him on this team in the first place? No, because if you're devoting that much time and that much effort to get him the ball, first and foremost, things can happen. When you're staring down a receiver, which we've seen quarterbacks try to force feed receivers, and I'm not saying Evans is not a mismatch nightmare by any means, but when you try to force feed a wide receiver, bad things can happen. Defenses can pick up on those tendencies. Now you can spread it out. Now you can figure out what these young guys have, and if they're the real deal. And if they're not, then Jason Light can always go in and draft some more players at this point. What else, Trevor?
Yeah. And then last but not least, I can't forget about our good buddy Logan Hall.
Yeah.
Defensive lineman, right?
Because he was fantastic, by the way, when he was here. I forgot.
Yeah,
what was he? What did he have? He his best year 2 years ago?
Here's the deal with that, Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I do know. The first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, we were pretty damn good against the run.
Sure.
And the reason why is because Kalijah Kancey was healthy.
Sure.
Okay. When he went down, I believe Logan Hall got a majority of the snaps.
He did.
And we were terrible against the run. And here's one thing that sticks out to me. The first time we played Carolina in Charlotte, they was able to run the ball extremely well against us. Fast forward 2 weeks later, we played Carolina in the season finale.
Right.
We took their run away. And there was one guy that did not play in that first contest and hadn't played pretty much all season except for 2 or 3 games, and that was Kalijah Kancey.
Correct.
So here's the thing. Logan Hall, good riddance, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You have fun getting your face beat in, and you have fun being a liability against the run when you play, because you was not as fast. He was a part of the problem. Like Logan Hall, you were one of the reasons why Todd Bowles is on the hot seat right now.
Thank you.
If he's listening.
Thank you. That's it. That's what it comes down to.
One of the reasons.
Right. And I'll say this. A lot of people say, well, he's joining that Texans defense, which is tremendous. Unless they had a quarterback last year, they didn't turn over the ball, they would be in a better situation because their defense is tremendous with Danielle Hunter and, of course, Will Anderson. But, the same thing was said by a lot of Bucs fans that Joe Tryon-Shoyinka was going to be an all-star when he went to Cleveland because on the other side, Myles Garrett, and it just didn't happen that way. It just doesn't always happen that way. Is there a chance for Hall to go off because he's in his hometown of Houston from what you've seen? I don't know. I know they're talented up front. I don't necessarily think that equates for him to, have a big year, but maybe he does. Maybe it's a better situation. Maybe he's around better players, of course. But you're exactly right. The key for this line going forward, as I continue to say, is Kalijah Kancey. If Kalijah Kancey can stay healthy, then I definitely think this line is going to be much improved, especially when it comes to pass pressure. What else, Trevor?
That's it. And then last but not least, I know you touched on Mike Evans. And I'll be the first to admit, I was heartbroken. I love Mike Evans. He's my favorite Buck of all time.
Yeah.
Right. But it's a business, and look, I'm not mad at Mike for leaving. You know what I mean? I know a lot of fans are, but just like you were saying earlier, Mike wants targets, right? And he's still a number one, so I don't blame him for wanting that. And he'll go. He's in San Francisco where they need a number one. They absolutely need a number one. See, the one thing I didn't know about San Francisco is they lost a lot of pieces at the receiver position.
Sure, they did.
And so he is definitely needed in San Francisco. Whereas I'm not saying he's not needed here in Tampa, but we have a young nucleus of talent at the receiver position. And, he gave us 12 tremendous years. It's one of those things where it's just like, it was probably best for both sides. And, I put up a post on my Facebook the other day. I had all my Evans jerseys laid out, right? And I said, hey, I'm going to pay homage to my favorite Buck of all time one more time. And then I'm retiring his jerseys, meaning I'm not going to wear them anymore until he's the Hall of Fame or if he comes back as a Ring of Honor type person.
Right.
And that's just me. Some people are going to continue to wear his jerseys, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
But all in all, what I mean is, I love Mike. I know he'll do well in San Francisco, but I have a ton of confidence in the receiver room that we have now with Ibuka, Godwin, McMillian, the Johnson brothers, even though they're not really brothers, and whoever else we may add to the receiver room going into this year. I like some of the free agents we signed. I think they are under the radar free agents, but I really think they can help our team. I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to be able to do in the draft. Hopefully we can beef up that defense even more and have a tremendous defense going into 2026.
Yeah, and that's what it's going to come down to, and that's why I want to play this interview from Booger McFarland, because there were some visits today, and those were the players that he was talking about. The Bucs were consequently visiting with them, so we'll see how it works out. Trevor, appreciate the call. Use the second one if you want to, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to read the rest of these comments, and then we'll go out to the Booger McFarland interview because it's a good one. It's 10 minutes. It gives me an opportunity to take a breath because I've been talking that show on Saturday was 4.5 hours. I'm still tired from it. And then I talked all day long. But it's a great opportunity to hear from, an ESPN analyst who is, he played for the Bucs, but he's looking at it from an outside objective opinion there and breaking down some of the things that we've talked about on this show. So we'll play that interview in just a little bit here. Trevor says, awesome. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Nice present, Tim. Absolutely. Alex says, nice gift from Lamar. Raise up, baby. Woo.
Woo!
Gotta like that right there. Thank you very much. King Cook says, what did Jamel Dean say? There you go. I already said it. What the F have the Steelers won? Haven't won much of anything at this point, right? Let's go out to King Cook 1485. We aren't a Super Bowl team, though. Let's be real. Laugh out loud. Now we are starting to see why they brought JPP in. Laugh out loud. The locker room was split for sure. It may have been split. I mean, that's what I'm asking Bucs fans tonight. How concerned are you about these players leaving the team and their comments? Again, there's a narrative being pushed out there. I would just say be careful with that because first, the season hasn't started yet. Second, there's an off season still to go, so you can go into this draft class, which once again, all right, we'll hold off on that. Let's go out to Alex. Alex, welcome to the Evolution, my friend.
What up, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Not much. Doing great.
Good, man.
Hey, by the way, I want to start off by saying great stuff, great work you did this weekend on Saturday, some great interviews.
Thank you.
Wanted to give you some props on the good work.
Thank you.
But I actually wanted to flip the script real quick for a second. Did you get a chance to watch the WBC last night? How about that game?
I did. I watched it. I know that our buddy right there, Junior Caminero, really showed out. I love watching that. And then you had USA really take over. They had multiple opportunities with runners in scoring position. But what do we always talk about? It's about pitching. It's about the bullpen. It's about defense.
Man,
and that's exactly
I'll tell you one thing, Peter,
what
man.
got it done. Yeah.
The AL East showed out in that game yesterday.
Sure.
Caminero hit the homer for the Rays. Gunnar Henderson got the one. The O's. For the Red Sox, I'm losing my mind.
It's all right. We're all losing our minds.
Anthony got that home run, man.
Roman Anthony,
Either
yes.
way, AL East just showed up, but man, that was a great game last night. Good stuff. Team USA is playing tomorrow against the winner tonight. I think it's Italy and Venezuela playing right now.
I believe so, yes.
So the winner of that game will play tomorrow. But anyway, talking about the Bucs real quick before I get out of here.
Sure.
Listen, I've had a few days to think about it, and y'all are right. At the end of the day, talking about Mike Evans real quick, you got to look at it as a whole, man. No offense to Mike Evans and the hamstrings and, everything he's done for the Bucs. There just wasn't no room for him, man. There really wasn't no room for him. But I guess what's disappointing on my end, maybe I'll ask you this, is I thought that they would take, all that money they saved off on signing him, maybe go get that big person that we were talking about on Saturday, maybe a Trey Hendrickson or, hey, listen, even I swear to you, I think he's still out there. I think Max Crosby is still someone available. I mean, there's some options out there. I know you're going to say, well, they've added some pieces, but, unless they know something we don't know, is Levante David going to retire? Who's going to lead that Bucs? Who's going to lead, that defense? I just don't see, in my opinion, that veteran presence that you really need in that defense. Unless Levante David's coming back, maybe the Bucs know something we don't know. But honestly, I don't think Levante David should be your solution to lead that defense. And the reason why I'm only talking about the defense is because that's where we struggled.
Sure. Well, I mean, again, the offense has to hold up there, the end of the bargain, of course, and they didn't play well down the stretch. You're exactly right about that. Baker Mayfield didn't play well. And now you got a new offensive coordinator, so we'll see how they're able to adjust and what he's able to do with the weapons that he has now without a Mike Evans, because Mike Evans, again, he wants his targets and he wants his yards, and I don't know if the Bucs could provide that in the first place.
And I want to add this too, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'm about to probably start some controversy, but I don't care. On a Monday night on the Sports Web. For For those of y'all saying he left because of Baker, if you think for 1 minute that Brock Purdy was a better option than Baker, oh my God. Mike Evans, the big rumor going around that Mike Evans left because of the quarterback issue, that's nonsense.
It is
I
nonsense.
don't believe that. I don't believe that for 1 minute. I think Baker and Mike had a very close friendship and a relationship on the field, and I think they had some good times off the field too. But if you're going to sit there and I'm not buying that Mike left because of Baker, and that's the big thing going around. I guess that's what pisses me off the most is Baker's the reason why he left. Can you admit maybe that's some nonsense?
I definitely think it's some nonsense. I go back to what your Booker said, and I thought they were great comments. He said the Bucs could have the best quarterback in the league for value alone because of the $30 million and what he's been able to do with that in the last couple of years. And he makes some sense on that. A lot of people will laugh at it, but it makes lots of sense when he says that. So I love Baker Mayfield. I think he's got to clean up the turnover situation, especially in the fourth quarter. He's got to keep himself out of harm's way. I know we love Baker and what he does and how he puts his shoulder pad down, but he has to live to fight another day. He has to stay healthy for this team because if he doesn't, then you're depending on Jake Browning. And I get it. He's a backup quarterback. He's played before, but that's not necessarily where you want to live. And then there's also talk, and we can get into this in a little bit, Anthony Richardson rumors, the fourth overall pick just a couple years ago is now rumored. The Bucs are rumored to be interested in him to get him for a late round pick.
I think that would maybe be, but see, I want to add this too about Baker real quick is I just think, and maybe I don't know, we're going to see how this season goes. And you know what? I'm going to do what you told me to do as an individual. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
I'm going to let this season play out, see what happens.
Thank you.
But, Peter, I'm telling you right now that Baker Mayfield is going for contract negotiations, and this is it. I think technically he can walk away after this season. And I'm just being honest with you. For all you Bucs fans out there sitting here bashing Baker, I promise you, I don't see no better options out there, unless I just don't know what I'm talking about. I don't see no better options that are going to be available after this season. Because I promise you, if this season goes really south, I don't see Baker Mayfield returning, next season. So we'll see. Anthony Richardson, hey, maybe you might sign him.
And he hasn't performed well at all. I mean, and he looks like a bust at this point. 11 touchdowns, 13 interceptions in the starts that he's had for the Colts.
But can you admit though? Do you think the Bucs would be taking a huge step back if Baker decided not to return in 2027?
Absolutely, of course they would be taking a huge step back with what he can do. I think he's a franchise quarterback. He's got to prove it this year, but I definitely think he's played like a franchise quarterback at times.
Listen, I know the turnovers were really bad last year. I know they were, and I'm not going to sit there and defend that. And people are always going to look at the last pick of the season that ultimately cost the Bucs their season.
Right.
But you guys have to remember, man, this man not only was running for his life the entire season, and that offensive line was so banged up, going down left and right. People think it's easy. Listen, am I 100% defending the interceptions? No. But Baker Mayfield had to work through a lot, man. And to sit here and say he's the reason why Mike left, I'm just sorry. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that for 1 minute. But I am going to say this on my way out of here is if y'all ask, man, y'all are asking for a full reset. If you see number 6 walk out that building, after this year. So we'll see what happens. Listen, Peter, I just want to admit before I go, great work. You're doing great stuff. Appreciate all your hard work. Appreciate you bringing the content. So I'll call in on Wednesday night.
All right, man. Sounds good. Use that second call if you want to, my friend. Thanks a lot. As always, Alex, open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to TikTok here. Ren Mark. Hi, Peter. Peter Blake 1003. Ren Mark, thanks a lot for tuning in there. We'll go to Instagram Live. No comments yet there. I know Blake Anthony is watching. DJ UPS is watching. We'll continue to read comments. And then again, I want to get out to this Booger interview because there's some good stuff that we can definitely dissect. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and go out to this guy right here. Mr. Sun Devil Dave in Arizona. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. How you doing?
Thank you for wasting my time. Goodbye forever.
Well, there you go. Turn down your radio or turn down your, I don't know what you got on there, but it's having a feedback again.
Still doing it? I have everything off now.
I can hear it. I don't know why.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Is it still doing echoing?
Okay. Yeah, I can still hear it. No, I can still hear you. You got something on. Just talk to me on the phone at this point.
I am. I have everything off in the room. I don't even have your sports web on.
Okay. Do you have your speaker on?
Oh, my speaker's on?
Yeah, you're something. Testing? Yeah, I can still hear it. So I don't know what you did. Just talk to me on the phone like you're going to talk to me.
Call back.
All right. Give me a call back. All right. I've seen Abraham call back in. We'll take his phone call whenever he calls in, back in again. All right, let's go out to him. Sun Devil, go ahead.
Is that better?
No, I can still hear it.
Is it just a background thing?
It is a background thing, yes.
I wonder what it is. There's nothing in my room. It's quiet. Okay. Is it just a lot of reverb?
It is a lot of reverb.
Okay. I'll just try to call back a little later tonight.
All right, man. Sounds good. Appreciate you. I could deal with it. All right, let's go out to Abraham. Abraham, welcome to the evolution.
Hey, man, it was a great day on Saturday.
It was, my friend. It was a long day. It was a great day. Thank you very much for hanging out.
Should I keep you on speaker or should I just stick to regular?
If I hear reverb from you, I'm going to come through the phone and choke you. So do not put me.
All right, dude. I got you.
I'm just
but
joking.
I do hear noise still. But I think that's not me. But
that's not me either. Go ahead.
Okay, so what the hell? Sorry, but yeah. So I enjoyed being there all day with you and talking to all these different personalities, plus getting a little bit more insight from an expert analyst like Booger.
Mm-hmm.
But let me see if I have my YouTube app open or something. But I hear something when I'm talking.
I don't hear anything from you this time. I don't hear anything like Sun Devil Dave. So you're good at this point.
Okay, we good. Okay, so I like that what Booger said about Baker, and I think we got a good quarterback. It was unfortunate circumstances, and you got to take into consideration what happened. We had a big O-line injuries. We had to deal with reshuffle O-line, and that affected the dynamics of the whole offense. And then we had a lot of injuries on our receiving corps. Godwin was out. Evans was out. This is the second year in a row he was out for many games.
Yes.
So there's a lot of, and then you got some rookie trying to figure things out. A lot was put on his plate early on, and then I just felt like the second half there was just a total collapse. I don't know what it is. Everybody was not on the same page as far as offense. We got a rookie play caller, and there was a big defense. I think just psychologically they felt. I think they just gave up.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were just defeated after a couple of losses to the Patriots and the Rams.
Right.
So I just feel the team needs a reset this year. And I'm gonna stay positive. Ever the optimist I am as a Bucs fan.
Sure.
And let's see how things play out. But I want to add, go USF Hoops.
I know, right? So go USF Hoops.
It was an amazing day as a Tampa Bay sports fan to see USF win their conference championship, to win their 25th game, and then have a resurgence after a down year after losing their coach to a medical procedure complication. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But we bounced back, and I think his spirit is carrying the team. And not only that, we got a good coach, and I hope we keep him for a long time in Tampa. So
Yeah, well, I definitely agree with you on that when it comes to the coach, Raheem, getting an opportunity to talk to him and seeing how excited he was about, the if you will, the evolution of that basketball program and how he wanted to see it through. And I'm gonna probably play these comments a little bit later on what he had to say in case you can get a chance to see it on Facebook and on the other social media platforms. But just being from here and just seeing a coach and how passionate he was about the Bulls program, and now to see it through with the coaching job there that Hodgson's been able to do, has been able to do for USF has been tremendous. It's been tremendous, and what they've been able to come back from. So I'm excited to see them. They play.
It's nice seeing that hardware coming back to Tampa, the American Conference Championship. That's something big.
Yep, agree.
And
completely agree.
Yeah, and it's like, and he's going to go to Buffalo, and his dad, who's got dementia, is going to get a chance to see him coach.
Right.
So it's going to be a very emotional game for him. I just think the players will step up, and hopefully. There's a prediction that they may, if they win at Louisville, they may face Connecticut, and they're going to be in the Sweet 16. I mean, hey, I'm excited about this team, and March Madness, here we come. I mean, finally Tampa Bay's actually back.
That's it. And you also have again, you have the games here with the Florida Gators in town, all these teams that are in town here, so it should be definitely fun if you're a college basketball fan at this point.
I know we don't have any football, but we do have Braves baseball coming, which I'm excited about.
Yep.
Speaking to Brett Phillips, I just, I told him, I'm like, I don't want to drive out of the Trop. My last experience with the Trop was not, but he said, that's your opinion. But then after listening to him talk to you, he got me convinced I'm going to go drive out for one game, a couple of games,
Why not? Why not?
I think this ownership does care about the fans.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I definitely think they do. It's different. It's completely different at this point.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about being a sports fan in the Tampa Bay area, and go Bulls, go Bucs, go Rays, go Bolts.
All right. Love it, man. Appreciate it. Use the second call if you want to. Good stuff there. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue to read comments at this point, and then we'll go back, and like I said, we'll go out to that Booger interview here. Logan Hall made comments too. Yes, he did. He said he wanted to play for Houston because he thought they were a Super Bowl ready team. Thank you so much, 13 Tampa Bay Buccaneers for life. Absolutely, Mr. King Cook 1485. Baker clearly wasn't the quarterback Mike wanted to continue to work with. Laugh out loud. King Cook, UF quarterback, please no. Keep Richardson away. That's been talked about as rumors. Cry me a river about Baker, man. He's a limited quarterback. That's okay to acknowledge, folks. Let's go out to Carlos. Mike left because of 3rd and 28. Plain and simple. Doesn't believe in Bulls, his defense, and I don't blame him because neither do I. Well, that's your opinion. Again, the season hasn't played out yet, but if Mike was willing to leave off of one play at this point, good luck to him. And we'll see what happens with the San Francisco 49ers. I don't think it was just one play. Let's see here. Alex Nunster, 2432. Who's a better quarterback available? Just curious. Realtor David Zuzman, Baker Mayfield cannot be compared to Tom Brady, but we also cannot compare Bucs offensive line under Brady and the one Mayfield had last year. Malk was injured. Gedeke missed many games. Bad center and left guard because you had both of your guards out. It definitely did not help your offensive line. Thank you, Realtor David Zuzman, says Alex. David says, ask him if he's got his Wi-Fi on his phone right now. I don't know what he's got. Realburg native, Mike went to the playoffs with Baker 2 years in a row and failed to get back in year 3 with the 6th to 5th rated offensive line. But again, injuries to that offensive line can sit here and say all day long about rankings. But when you're missing both of your starting guards and you have to reshuffle your offensive line for the majority of the year with backups, that is going to play a point and a factor of why you're not going many places at this point. Let Tom work with that same offensive line Baker did and let me know how he does. Well, there was a pretty bad offensive line in Tom Brady's last year. It was pretty awful. What's good, Peter Blake? What's good with you sitting?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to David here. I have that same problem when I have my Wi-Fi on. I have to turn it off. Realburg native. Mike saw the 9 interceptions after the bye week that helped lose games. And Mike said, I can't play with another Jameis-like situation. Realtor David Zuzman, we really need to make serious improvements to the offensive line. Barton needs to be moved to left guard, and we need to draft a center. There are many good centers in the draft. There's more needs at this point. I understand where you're coming from when it comes to trying to draft an offensive lineman. But if you're not going after an edge rusher or a linebacker at this point, you are completely wrong. I really believe Barton will never be a serviceable center. Brederson is mediocre at best. We have great tackles, and Malk is solid. Realtor David Zuzman, Barton was such a bad pick. I think it remains to be seen. Again, does it help when you don't have your starting guards to help your development for a center? And then your center is moving to left tackle. Did you guys forget that? Come on, Realtor David Zuzman. What grade do you give the Bucs in free agency? I say D because they didn't bring anybody in that got me excited. I doubt people are rushing out and buying jerseys right now, but that's not what it's always about, David. In fact, we'll leave on that point. Let's go out to Booger McFarland, who I got a chance to interview at the Expo. It's about 10 minutes. It'll give my voice some break here. You get an opportunity to hear what Booger McFarland thinks about free agency, what he thinks about the state of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. And when we come back, we will dissect that interview here on a Monday night. Here we go. Booger McFarland here.
Let's do it.
Of the ESPN fame right there. Booger, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television there. You can come in a little bit closer there, right there, into that camera. And let's talk about it, my friend. Let's talk about the state of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, your thoughts. How disappointed were you to witness that? Because they started out 6-2. People were talking about Baker Mayfield being an MVP, and then the wheels preferably fell off. Welcome to the evolution.
Yeah, you know what, man? It's one of those things that, they start off 6-2, then the injuries pile up. The defenses wasn't playing very well, and then things kind of snowball. The injuries, the defense. Next thing you know, you get in a little bit of a rut, man. It's kind of hard to get out of. They had an opportunity down the stretch. I think by all accounts, everyone's account, it was a disappointing season. So now the focus should be, you never can control from a health standpoint. You got to get lucky there. But the areas we can't control from a defensive standpoint, how do we get pressure on the passer? How do we tackle better? How do our special teams become better? Because those were a very weak part of the team. So I think those are things that Jason Light and Todd Bowles got to work on.
Do you think they've done enough in this offseason? A lot of disappointment with Mike Evans. We'll get back to that in a moment, but no, big name edge rusher. They got Muhammad. He had 11 sacks from the Detroit Lions. You get Gainwell. You get Anzalone. But in your opinion, have the Bucs done enough in this 2026 free agency period to get better? Have they got better? What should they do to get better?
Well, most of the time, free agency is one of those things that it's all for show. Very rarely do free agents change hands that are going to make a meaningful impact. There's 3 or 4. Could they have been in on Jalen Phillips? Man, that's a lofty
$30 million from Carolina.
I mean, that's a hard price.
Right.
Max Crosby, I think they were in on 2 1s. That's tough. Trey Hendrickson. Yeah. So Jason has always done a really good job of drafting. Edge rusher, he tried to fix it a little bit with Tryon Sharenka. Mm-hmm. You get Hassan Reddick. Those guys really didn't pan out. Yaya Diaby's played well. Yaya's just not a 1. Yaya is kind of a 2. Mm-hmm. You need a fastball coming off the edge. So they got the kid they drafted last year from Arkansas State. Go see what he's got. Chris Braswell. Like, they've tried to fix the edge position. But you're right. It doesn't matter if you can go back and get Buddy Ryan. Doesn't matter who's calling the defense. If you don't have guys to make the ball come out, it's going to be really, really tough. So the draft is coming up. It is a deep draft when it comes to edge rushers.
Is it risky for Jason Light to, because it depend on a rookie, because you said, again, Chris Braswell, they tried with Joe Tryon Sharenka. It's higher now, 15. Do you think the Bucs should be aggressive in trading up? Again, 6 edge rushers in the last 10 years to have double-digit sacks. You're going to have to try to get that production because this team struggled, especially in the second half, with only 12 sacks. Who are some of the guys you're looking at? Is it risky for Jason Light and crew to depend on those edge rushers, in your opinion?
No, because I think it is a deep draft, man. I mean, you got the 2 guys from Miami, Bain and Mesidor. You got the kid from Missouri who I love, Zion Johnson. Zion Young. Obviously, you look at Arvell Reese, David Bailey. I can go on and on. Like, it is a deep class. R. Mason Thomas, who is a guy who I think fits very well from Oklahoma. It's a deep edge rusher class. And so if I'm Jason, I don't think you need to jump up and give up next year's one or whatever to kind of move up. I think you could set back at was it 15?
Yeah.
And you'll be able to get an edge rusher that can make an impact. Because the key is, here's what you're trying to do with the draft. You're trying to get a super talented player cost effective.
Yeah.
On a rookie deal.
Yeah.
That way you can take advantage of that rookie deal for the next 3 or 4 years. Everybody talks about the quarterback. It's not just the quarterback. When you can get young players that can produce, it just makes your salary cap flexibility that much more.
Talked about Todd Bowles. In your opinion, should he be on the hot seat at this point?
Well, I think Todd and Jason both, I think, are in a situation now where they know next year's got to be really good. Anytime you start 6-2 and you crumble down the stretch, I think when you look at Jason Light and the Bucs' inability to get edge pressure, and now don't get me wrong, Jason has done a hell of a job. You look at a lot of the talent that he's brought in, but kind of the one glaring weakness has been defensively. The edge guys hadn't been able to solve that issue. Todd Bowles being a defensive coach when your defense doesn't perform well, I think both of those guys have a lot to prove in 26.
Absolutely. We're on with Booger McFarland here. ESPN does a fantastic job. You've done a great job transitioning from a defensive tackle, defensive lineman, to now being an analyst. Why is it such a tough transition for young pass rushers, in your opinion, from your experience, over to the NFL level?
Well, because most of the time you're young guys, and these guys are, 20, 21, 22 years old.
Yeah.
You're going up against like when you're playing tackle in this league, not only are you the best of the best, these guys are also 25, 26, 27. Sometimes when you're really good, you're 30 years old, or you're like Trent Williams, you're 37, 38 years old.
Yeah.
Like, these are experienced guys that have seen it all. And pass rush is not just about athletic ability. It's about technique and can you be an artist? It's not science. It's not just because you're big, fast, and strong. There's an art to pass rush, and you got to learn the art. You know, Michelangelo wasn't Michelangelo the first time he picked up the paintbrush.
Right.
You got to learn how to paint. You got to learn how to rush. And so it's not like wide receiver or running back that are very instinctive.
Yeah.
Pass rush is a learned skill.
All right. Akeem Mesidor, 25 years old. Is that somebody that you think the Bucs should be interested in? A lot of teams would shy away from it. He's 25. Well, people say he's 25 years old. You only get 5 to 6 years, Booger. I mean, this is what they're saying. I'm not saying
What's wrong with that?
I have no problem with it. I would like to see.
What's wrong with 5 years? Everybody gets caught up in this thing when you're drafting a guy. You're not trying to – every guy you're drafting is not for 10 years.
Right.
If you draft a guy for 5 years, then, okay, that's great.
Right.
As long as it's not 1 year. I mean, you're drafting I have no problem drafting a guy in the first round and saying, okay, I got 5 good years out of it.
Yeah.
And if I get no more, so be it.
Right. Elijah Cansey, Elijah Roberts, what do you see from those young kids?
Got to stay healthy.
Right. Especially Cansey.
Cansey's got to perform, got to stay healthy. I like what he can do. He reminds you of a lot of what Aaron Donald, Grady Jarrett are because of the quickness and the size.
Right.
But I got to see it a lot more often.
Baker Mayfield, you still a believer in him with this offense? I always say where this offense goes, where Baker Mayfield goes, this offense goes. Can they do enough with the loss of Mike Evans? We'll finish off with that because young kids, Emeka Egbuka, Jalen McMillan, Chris Godwin, a veteran, Tez Johnson, they re-signed Cade Otton. Are you still a believer in Baker Mayfield? What do you think Baker Mayfield has to improve on? What do you see on film with him?
Well, Baker's got to be more consistent, number one. Number two, they got to protect him up front. I think Baker has shown more times than not when he gets protected, there's an opportunity for him to go out and make some plays. So, yeah, I'm still a believer. Like, when you look at what Baker makes relative to the production that he's getting, you could argue the Bucs have the best quarterback in football. And here's what I mean by that. You look at the money he's making relative to the production that they're getting. He's a 1,000-yard passer.
Yeah.
Making, $30 million a year.
Yes.
He's not making 60 like that.
Yeah.
So relative to salary, from a production standpoint, you could, like I said, you can make an argument they're getting some of the best quarterbacking in football.
How surprised are you with Mike Evans and going to the San Francisco 49ers, choosing them? I say it comes down to this. Not only does he feel like the 49ers are in a better position to win a Super Bowl, but on top of it, they can give him the opportunity to have that volume to where he can leave no doubt. He can get in the top 10 for receiving all time because they can feed him the ball.
Well, I think when you've been somewhere for 12 years, sometimes change is good.
Yeah.
His kids are a lot older. He's seen Tampa. Sometimes you don't know what else is out there till you go see it. And so I think there's a lot of intrigue from Mike about other organizations like San Francisco.
Yeah.
An organization like Mike's won a ring here. Like, what else can he do? He's a Hall of Famer. He's won a ring here. He's done so much here. So there's a little intrigue. It's kind of like LeBron. LeBron left Cleveland the first time because he said, I wanted to see what he'd been in Cleveland his whole life.
Correct.
He wanted to go to Miami.
Evans is a fan of LeBron James.
Evans just wants to go see what else is out there. I got no problem with it.
All right. So give me some Super Bowl memories for you. That Super Bowl year, winning Super Bowl 37. What do you remember about it most? And being coached, of course, by the great John Gruden.
Just how close that team was. A lot of the guys it's crazy because as time goes by, you usually lose contact. But a lot of the guys that you were close with on that team, I'm still close with now. So I think the relationships are what we always cherish when we see the guys, when we see each other. So that's been like the cool part about it.
Tony Dungy, talk about him and his impact on your career.
Tony's great. I mean, Tony drafted me. Tony traded for me. I still keep in contact with him today. He's a Hall of Fame coach, but more importantly for me, he's a Hall of Fame person that gave us an opportunity to play football, but also be mentored by one of the great men in football.
Love it. Good stuff, Booger McFarland. Thanks a lot for coming on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Here's my card. I don't know what the the limitations of ESPN, but anytime you want to come on and talk football, let me know.
Will do, buddy.
All right, Booger McFarland. All right, so there you go. Welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. After the great interview there, and there's some things to go through that. For me, it's the Baker Mayfield comments. Maybe the best quarterback, getting the best quarterback play in the league with value alone, only getting paid $30 million. If you protect him, as we talked about, which they didn't have last year, with, again, missing your guards. I know people are, it's an excuse. It's not an excuse. You've got to protect your quarterback. You can't have your quarterback take unnecessary hits, especially when they lead to injuries, which it did. A shoulder injury, oblique injury. I mean, it's not where you want to live. The guys that he was talking about happened to come and visit the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today. In fact, Tampa Bay has brought in Oklahoma edge rusher R. Mason Thomas per James Simone and Missouri edge rusher Zion Young, according to our friend J.C. Allen. Let's go out to Alex. Alex, using your second call. What's on your mind?
I'm using my second phone call early, man.
Go for it.
I love that interview. Listen, I'm going to speak to certain people, especially the ones in the chat. This is exactly, that interview was dead set on. The problem is, okay, Baker is running for his life. Running for his life. People have no idea how hard it is when you do not have an offensive line to protect you. You're going to run for your life. And when you're turning around and before you know it, it's bound to make a mistake. Listen, I'm not sitting here defending these interceptions and stuff. Y'all are going to say $30 million, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Listen, you have to protect the quarterback. On top of that, Baker has to have some credit here. No offense to the Bucs organization, but Baker Mayfield is getting ready to go to his 1, 2, 3. He's getting ready to work with his 4th offensive coordinator in his time as a Buccaneer. Mm-hmm. Do you know how hard that is?
I mean, it kills the development of a young quarterback. That's what we always talk about on this show. When you have a young quarterback,
Baker has to have a very good quarterback coach that I think that he would be able to communicate with him and him alone. It's difficult. Listen, I'm not sitting here on a Monday night giving excuses for Baker Mayfield, but guys, give him some slack, man. I'm so tired over this offseason. People are just destroying this man, and people don't know. I'm telling you, Peter, I'm going to end with this. I'm going to get out of here. I'm telling y'all bashing Baker, bro. If he leaves Tampa after this year goes to shit, if it does, hopefully it doesn't, then hit me up. I'll be calling this time next season when we're trying to figure out who the hell the next quarterback is going to be. Peter, great work. Appreciate you, brother. God bless.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Absolutely. Thanks a lot for the second call. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about this quarterback walking out the door, going somewhere else and winning a Super Bowl or winning games. I mean, can it happen? Can it also not happen? Sure. But if you think that, Baker Mayfield has been helped by all the changes when it comes to offensive coordinator, then once again, you're completely incorrect, because that's not what you want from a young quarterback. I get it. He's, 29, 30 years old. But when you have a changing of offensive systems every year, and then you look at it with Zach Robinson, what you're trying to get back to is that Liam Cohen offense. That's what you want to get back to. And they're hoping they're going to be able to bring that back, and it'll be nice to bring that back. And hopefully that offense, whatever the hell that was last year with Josh Grizzard, was not good at all. So hopefully Zach Robinson. But when you have a quarterback, still a young quarterback, that has that many changes at offensive coordinator, that ruins a quarterback's development. So what the Bucs have gotten from him is amazing with all the changes at offensive coordinator. Think about it. He's never had a consistent offensive coordinator just being in Tampa. That's not to say Cleveland. Cleveland's been the same thing. Carolina's been same thing. No consistent offensive coordinator. You got Dave Canales one year, and then it's Liam Cohen, and then you're turning the page and you're moving on to Zach Robinson. I mean, that's not where you want to be if you're a young quarterback in the National Football League. It's just not through your career. It ruins development. All right. Let's see. Let's go back to the comments here. Thanks a lot for listening to the interview there, but we'll get back to the comments in a moment, but I'll read this report here. Zion Young, according to J.C. Allen, for a top 30 visit. Each player met formally with the Bucs at the NFL Combine. This is what we're talking about. He said a deep, he said it a couple times there, edge rusher class. And I put it out there, only 6 edge rushers the last 10 years have had double-digit sacks. So it's risky, but if you can get the right one who can, come in, a la James Pierce Jr., without the off-the-field nonsense or shenanigans for you St. Patty's people tomorrow. If you can get that, that would definitely help out, especially double-digit sacks from a rookie, because then you would have an edge rusher, which you haven't had a young edge rusher since who? Right there, Leroy Selman. Unbelievable that you haven't had a young edge rusher since Leroy Selman. So maybe this is the year, right? Whether it's quarterback, trying to develop a young quarterback, which a lot of Bucs fans are resigned to the opportunity to tank for Arch Manning or tank for a young quarterback over Baker Mayfield. I'm going to tell you, I don't think that's necessarily the play at this point, and shouldn't be the play. But they are talking to R. Mason Thomas, who is talked about by Booger. According to Pewter reports, he's from Florida, originally growing up in Fort Lauderdale, so Florida kid. He's a guy that plays with attitude and edge. It's tenacity of Thomas that Bucs fans will love. Thomas has an explosive first step, is relentless getting after the quarterback. The way he takes angles is often used to his advantage. While undersized, he keeps a low pad level because of it and helps him win matchups. Thomas recorded 15.5 sacks in 23 games over the last 2 seasons. His big year came 2 years ago in 2024 when Thomas recorded 9 sacks, 23 tackles, and 12.5 tackles for loss. 2 forced fumbles in 13 games. He was named second all SEC because of it. The next season in 2025 saw slightly less numbers with 6.5 sacks, 26 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, and another 2 forced fumbles. Despite slightly less production, Thomas was named first team all SEC for his efforts. So there you go. SEC competition, it took a little slight, but that happens. With the tendencies, people start to game plan for you. Like you come, you're surprised for that 2024 year, and then all of a sudden they start to figure it out, and still was able to be successful when it came down to it. Now, Zion Young doesn't have as much production, but he was a standout at the Senior Bowl from what you hear. So that'll be another player that the Bucs will definitely take a look at. We talk about Cassius Howe from Texas A&M. He's been mocked to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Going back to Young, according again to Peter Report, he is going to be an intriguing player to watch as far as his stock goes in the coming weeks and months. He's a classic case study in the realm of production, only 11.5 sacks in 4 years, including a career-high 6.5 in 2025 versus traits. So he has all the traits, has all the measurables, but he wasn't able to be productive. So what is it? What are you drafting? Are you drafting for potential? Are you drafting for a guy on tape that's got the production? That's what we'll see the Bucs do here in less than a month as the draft is right around the corner. Isn't it crazy that the draft is right around the corner? All right, we'll go back out to the comments here, and we'll continue to do that. Read comments and take phone calls. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I also want to go back out to what Booker was saying, how, essentially Yaya is a 2. He's not a 1. You need a fastball on that right side. You don't have that. That's what you need. So one of these edge rushers at this point would be the guy. Of course, you talk about Muhammad, who they got from the Lions, Al-Wadeen. Muhammad, 11 sacks, but the only year he had double-digit sacks, you got him for a less value of 1 year for $6 million. So there is some risk there. We'll talk about him, but you not really a risk. Again, 1 year of 11 sacks in his contract year. So can he duplicate that? And the Bucs cover themselves by signing him to a 1 year, $6 million deal. And if it doesn't work out, then you cut your losses. So hopefully it does work out. We'll get back to that in a moment. Let's continue to read comments here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television on a Monday night. Let's see here. Where were we? All right. What grade do you give the Bucs in free agency? I say a C. I think it's a C, possibly a B. I know there's not the big edge rusher out there, the big name, but Muhammad's pretty good. 11 sacks. Just has to have a chance. At this point, I like Anzalone. He's a little bit up there in age, but he's better in coverage, so will definitely improve that linebacking core. Gainwell is going to definitely be an improvement. I think he makes that Bucs team more explosive, not only on offense and third downs, because Baker can check off, but on top of that, he could be a special teams guy. And then Miles Killebrew improves your special teams definitely. And then Alshon Robinson, I like that move too. 1 year, $10 million. Good run stuffer. You get bigger up front. He pushes the line that may free up guys on the outside that you're drafting, or, Yaya Diaby, Kalijah Kancey, guys like that. So I give it a C at this point. Remains to be seen. It's really hard to justify Jason Light's incompetence. Realberg native says Baker was sacked 36 times last year, the 9th most sacked quarterback. Laugh out loud. Baker needs to take the next step to being elite. Year 8, no more excuses. Hurt after he starts to mess up. And I told you, it certainly seems like there are times where Baker does have time, but he gets happy feet. He wants to run instead of just staying in the pocket, trying to scan the field. Yeah, that comes down to confidence in your offensive line. And once again, that offensive line has to stay healthy. You have to stay consistent with it, like everything else. Part of the sacks last year falls on him trying to extend dead plays, but a bigger part was Grizzard's calling too many long development plays, trying to throw deep, which is not Baker Mayfield's strength. Alex Dunster says King Cook is a Baker hater. Realtor David Zuzman, you don't call many long development plays when you're playing with a sub-offensive line. Good point. How did Tom do? Laugh out loud. Alex says exactly, Baker was sacked 8 times because there was no friggin' offensive line, but we're going around and blaming Baker. David says, I'm glad that I finally got a dog on that defensive line. Would be Ashawn Robinson and, of course, Muhammad. Realtor David Zuzman, no O-line, stupid play calling were the main problem last year. Quarterback coach should be working with Mayfield to stress the importance of throwing away whenever it's too risky instead of forcing the pass. The new quarterback coach there is the one who worked with the supposed number 1 pick, Fernando Mendoza, right there. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm excited to see him coach up Baker Mayfield and see what he can bring to this offense. Baker has limited talent over 8 years. The excuses are more argued than Baker accolades and wins. The offensive line, even with injuries, played great to give Baker a chance. Cole, CSB brother, I think the expo was great, Peter. Such a good job by you. Thank you very much. I want Italy and the final of the WBC. Let's talk March Madness, Peter. I say take USF in the points. Plus, they are in a crazy region. Love it. Easy for me to say. I agree with you. I like USF to get to the Sweet 16. However, people going around the real issues, the dead last defense in almost every category, especially pass defense. Remember, 3rd and 28. Yes, we all remember 3rd and 28 by now. Calling the top fifth and with injury 6th rated offensive line, even nothing is outrageous. Baker failed to adjust during the game. Team started to intercept Baker. Also doesn't help. Baker had to work with 8 different offensive coordinators, including a new one next year. Alex, again, exactly. I like the interview. Protect the quarterback. Riller to David Zuzman. I agree. Realburg native. All these excuses for Baker. Baker had slack for 8 years, and he has failed everyone who believes in him. Alex says, okay, let's not go down there. Thank you, Peter. These dudes are so friggin'... Baker had banged up the offensive line. He was throwing to backup wide receivers almost all year, and 2 of them were rookies. What do you want? Realburg native. People crying now because Mike Evans is gone. People will not cry over a quarterback that has lost both playoff appearances on turnovers and failed in year 3 to get back with all the excuses. To that point, I know what you're saying about the turnover situation with Baker Mayfield losing the game against the Lions. You were close in that. That wasn't his fault, was not for the Washington Commanders. That wasn't on him. That was on Jalen McMillan. That was a questionable call by Liam Cohen. And then on top of it, your defense wasn't able to get off the field for the whole night. So I don't think that was all on Baker. Worst ranked defense 3 years straight. Right there, Mr. Nicholas M. Kosamides. Mike Evans was responsible for some interceptions. Todd Bowles needs to go. Bucs never draft the people they bring in for visits. Realburg native, who's beating the door down, wanting to trade for Baker. Who else wants to give Baker $50 million a year to lose or late game turnovers? Once again, we will see what the market shows if Baker has a big year. If he doesn't, then the Bucs will have a decision to either cut their losses, depending on, and again, where Baker Mayfield goes, this offense goes. So if he struggles, this offense is going to struggle, and then you're in big trouble. And you're talking about rebuilding and you know, trying to tear it down and do all the unnecessary or do all the necessary stuff that a lot of Bucs fans want to do. And you're going through a rebuild, so it will take a couple years, most likely. So we'll see. Nicholas says no tanking. Realburg native. The defense has been subpar, but in Detroit, the defense gave Baker the ball back, needing a scoring drive. Turnover the next year against Washington, goal line stop. Baker fumbles or Barton, and that wasn't Baker. That was Jalen McMillan. Alex, hell end up with the Rams when Stafford leaves. JC Allen, great stuff today, my friend, with the visits. Appreciate you. Good stuff there. Why I got to be a hater? I have a difference of opinion. Now I'm a hater. Go out of your feelings, folks. Laugh out loud. Let's go out to Alex Dunster again. But no one word about the almost dead last defense. Why not? King Cook, 1485. The Washington game was on Baker. Don't do that, Peter. Laugh out loud. I don't think the Washington game was on Baker. I think the Washington game was on play calling. I think the Washington game was on the fact that the defense couldn't get off the field. Jalen McMillan fumbling the ball. You had the snap there by Barton. That wasn't good. There's a couple things there that played into it. It wasn't all Baker Mayfield. It was a collection of things, especially the defense not, once again, being able to get off the field. Why are you going around what I said? The Bucs are cooked, says Van House Life. You know, I expect that comment from you, as always, so thanks a lot for the comment. Baker's just better staying in Tampa. Secondary was getting cooked against Jaden Daniels. Exactly, agree with that.
Oh, yeah!
Secondary is getting cooked. You're not able to get off the field at all. That's not on Baker Mayfield. Yeah, they gotta hope they're in by scoring points, but if your defense is not able to get off the field, especially on 4th down, it's not going to help your team out because guess what? You're not going to have the ball to score any points because the other team has the ball. That's the point. Van House facts. Van House Live. Baker out singing songs you don't know the words to instead of looking at tape. Yeah, I guarantee you know Van House Life what Baker Mayfield is doing in his daily life when it comes to looking at tape because he's going out and enjoying his life at a concert. Great job. Great analysis, as always, bringing nothing at all to the show.
That's good enough to suck right there.
Jamon McCoy in Pewter. That's a cornerback. Is that a possibility? Peter, thanks for spitting facts. Absolutely. Exactly. That's all right. That's okay. Van House Life is a troll at this point. So let's go out to Bucky Brooks, see what he thinks about the overlooked free agents that were signed. And guess what he has? He has Al-Wadin Muhammad. Easy for me to say. Hopefully I get that before the year starts. He says 1 year with a max value of $6 million. The Bucs total just 37 sacks. Al-Wadin. Why did I say Wadin? Al-Wadin Muhammad. The Bucs total just 37 sacks in 2025. Tied for 18th most in the league with just one player topping 5 quarterback takedowns on the season. Yaya Diaby, who had 7. So the Buccaneers are rolling the dice on a soon-to-be 31-year-old pass rusher coming off the best season of his 9-year career. Muhammad totaled 11 sacks with the Lions last season, utilizing violent hands and a nonstop motor to overwhelm blockers at the point of attack. I like that. Violent hands, which sometimes I like to use violent hands on some of you when you talk about this Buccaneer team, and a nonstop motor, which you could see, or you could actually say for this show when I get on here and talk, to overwhelm blockers at the point of attack. Additionally, in the veteran sprinkled in a few speed rush maneuvers that surprised offensive tackles who were anticipating a bull rush or butt and jerk. His words, not mine. Of course, some of you I would call a butt and a jerk. Butt head and jerk off. Sorry. Considering his success and Detroit's aggressive scheme, Todd Bowles should enjoy unleashing Muhammad from various alignments and fronts. That was Bucky Brooks from NFL.com. We'll go back out to the comments here. I don't know why, but we're going to read them. Van House Live. Mike Evans says, hi, Peter. Well, I'm sure he did say hi. I'm sure he's hanging out with you. Right now, you're probably high if you think that Mike Evans, you talked to Mike Evans or had any opportunity to ever talk to Mike Evans. Once again, Van House Live bringing nothing to the show.
This guy sucks.
Mike Evans, you're either die hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. Steve Stansfield, Josh Hayes, Tyree Funderburk with Dean out. Bucs need more depth. Dean is gone, but also LBS needed in the draft. That was a liability. 24 and 25 outside of David. Now, going back to it, yes, linebacker, definitely a position of need, although they don't pigeonhole themselves by getting an Alex Anzalone. Even though he's 31 years old, he'll definitely be an improvement. You have to fill that position. Will you do it in the first round? Will you do it in the second round? Do you do it with the CJ Allen at 15 if he's there, if he's the best player on the board, or do you go with Jacob Rodriguez in the second round? It remains to be seen. And then corner, you knew you were going to lose Jamel Dean. You signed Zion McCollum to a contract extension. You didn't necessarily play well, so you got to get something out of him. And once again, Benjamin Morrison in the second round last year. Jacob Parrish in the fourth round. There's a third round or fourth round. I think it was one of those premium picks. You got to get the most out of those. Parrish played well. Benjamin Morrison wasn't able to stay on the field. He's got to do a better job of that. When he was on the field, he got cooked, as you guys would say, against the Buffalo Bills a couple times. Didn't look great. So hopefully he has the opportunity to get those reps, not only in training camp, but also in the preseason, because that hurt him. Anytime you start the season on the IR, that's not where you want to be. And then once again, McCollum was just terrible. He's got to rebound from that. And don't be surprised if Jason Light in the later rounds drafts a corner, because you definitely have a need. Realtor David Zuzman is laughing. Thank you. Hopefully I made you guys laugh. Kyle Trask is better than Mayfield, of course.
That's good enough to suck right there.
I got to give you the TJ Reeves at this point, Van House Life, because you just got to do this.
Go away. Go away. I will hold the door.
There you go. King Cook 1485. Everybody talking about our defense, but yet we were supposed to be hype about a 30 to 31-year-old role players who are being paid as starters. Laugh out loud. Justin says, what's good, Peter Blake? What's good with you, my friend? Alex Nunzer says they blame Baker, but can't even get it right. This has to be truly entertaining. It is entertaining. It's always entertaining here on the evolution of sports talk television. As always, Van House Live, fire Todd Bowles, fire you.
That's good enough to suck right there.
Let's go out to King Cook 1485, Max Crosby and Trey Hendrickson, who everyone cried about not getting. Watch how they make immediate impacts next year, and all the crybabies will say, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Listen, I was one of those people that said you have to go out to Trey Hendrickson. Obviously, the Bucs were in that. They wanted to do a short-term deal instead of a long-term, most likely a 2-year deal instead of a 4-year, which is what the Baltimore Ravens were willing to give him. And we'll see if it works out because he did have an injury last year. He is coming off a 4.5 sack effort with a core injury. So, how effective is he going to be for that Baltimore Ravens defense? But then again, coming into it, I thought he was the best edge rusher at 81 sacks. You can't go wrong with him. Baltimore made the move. The Bucs didn't. And maybe Trey Hendrickson didn't go to Tampa Bay because they saw a player like Mike Evans leave. Crazy as that sounds, players listen to other players. And maybe that was one of the dominoes, right? We talked about it. Like you sign Trey Hendrickson, maybe you get Mike Evans back. Maybe it worked the other way where Mike Evans left. And then there's players saying, I don't know, but it didn't affect Kenneth Gainwell. It didn't affect Alex Anzalone. It didn't affect Muhammad. It didn't affect, Ashawn Robinson, but maybe it had an effect on Trey Hendrickson. Who knows? Okay. Enough with the Bad Bunny stuff. It's so old at this juncture. So again, just a nonsense.
This guy sucks.
Alex says the comment makes no sense. That would make the fans right about not getting him. You continue to sound clueless. Let's go out to Steve. Edge will be better in 26 after getting 2 edge rushers. Number 1 pick, Yaya Diaby, Muhammad, Nelson, Walker, who they like a lot. And we'll see. We'll see if he works out. There's an unknown there. Believe he was the 4th round pick and Parrish was the 3rd. So there you go. Rookie edge, another edge, Muhammad Kamara. And then seeing Bermanton trading away Braswell. I think you said Braswell. Yeah, Braswell is a bust. Yeah. All right, let's go out to ESPN, and I think we will wrap this up for the night at this point unless we get some phone calls. Phone calls are open. Phone line is open, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. This from ESPN as the most underrated players. And guess who's on the list? That's right, your favorite Tampa Bay Buccaneer running back, Kenneth Gainwell. They have this to say. This would be from ESPN. Signing Gainwell won't be as flashy as inking Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III, Travis Etienne, or Breece Hall. And Gainwell might not be an every down back either, but he can easily be the team's best running back, and his contract won't cost as much as those bigger names. By the way, 2 years, $14 million. Gainwell is coming off a nice season with the Steelers in which he recorded 4.7 yards per carry and 63 rushing yards over expected per NFL Next Gen Stats. He recorded 10.6 yards per carry on plays in which he wasn't contacted for at least 3 yards, 6th best among running backs with at least 100 carries. But Gainwell really excels on passing downs. Pay attention, Bucs fans. This is where it's at. This is where your offense becomes more explosive. Even with the loss of Mike Evans, then you get other people here to eat, especially your running backs. We'll get back to that in a moment. Let's go out to Realtor David Zuzman. Realtor, welcome to the Evolution.
Hello, how are you?
So
I decided to call just because there was a lot of nonsense today.
Well, that's what we have here. We love the nonsensical chats here on the Sports Lab on a Monday.
too much. So first of all, like when it comes to Baker Mayfield, I think it's quite absurd after everything that he has done and everything that he already accomplished to say that he is not a good quarterback. I think he's a very cost-effective quarterback, and I think we need to see the situations according to how things are happening. Like last year, not only we didn't have the O-line because like we lost Mock and we had a lot of players injured, but we also had big injuries affecting our wide receivers, right? We lost Mike for a lot of games. We lost Godwin for a lot of games.
McMillan.
We lost McMillan for almost the entire season.
Right.
So, there is no way we can, say bad things about Mayfield based on last year.
Well, yeah, you're putting that in context. And then you have the offensive line and continue to go back to, you have injuries on your offensive line. That will never help. You don't have a running game because Bucky Irving misses the majority of the season. I mean, so many factors, and people just like, again, for every San Francisco, and give credit to, Kyle Shanahan and the job that he did with all the injuries more injuries more than likely than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and still to have 12 wins in that tough division. But not every team is like the San Francisco 49ers, and you can't overcome that. And then furthermore, you're trying to overcome all this with a first-year offensive coordinator and a Josh Grizzard, who we come to find out that not only Todd Bowles thinks is 2 or 3 years away, but also is practicing plays and putting them in practice, but not using them in the game situation. So, of course, you're going to struggle. I mean, you put all these factors in, and you're like, well, Baker Mayfield should be a better quarterback, and he's supposed to walk on water. And I know how much, publicity these quarterbacks get, and we're all guilty of giving them that. But you also have to look back at the perspective here and say, what were the other factors there? Well, you had a banged up offensive line. You didn't have a running game. You had 3 of your top wide receivers out for the majority of the year. And you had a new offense, and you had an offensive coordinator that, essentially, from everything you hear, was clueless. He had no idea what he was doing when it came to game planning for this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. I mean,
yeah. And no, and not only that, Peter, like football, okay, like good teams, they rely on complementary football, right? Mm-hmm. So we had our entire middle of the field open because we didn't have middle linebackers. We could have no rush as well on the other teams because we didn't have reliable edge rushers, apart from Yaya Diaby. So every single time another team was playing against us, it was like a very long defensive drives. And then sometimes our offensive line would just not protect Baker on first down. And it was just like a, quick 3 and outs, and we were out of the game. So, I'm still worried about this year because I don't think that we addressed the defensive needs that we need, but should be blaming everything that happened last year on Baker. It's very, very stupid.
Well, I think it's very stupid, and I think there are just some Bucs fans out there, and I know where King Cook is coming from because he may want to turn the page on Baker Mayfield, and I would just say, let's see what he does this year in a contract year, and if he doesn't do it, then the Bucs will make that decision where you turn the page, you move on to a younger option, and then if you move it with a younger option, at that point, I think you're tearing it all down. You're getting rid of players, you're trading possibly a Chris Godwin, you're trading a Vita Vea, you're getting rid of all your top players. You're getting picks. You're trying to rebuild. And this thing may, go on for a couple of years until you're competitive again in the NFC South. Who knows? Maybe they turn it around just like that, like the other teams. But, it doesn't happen a lot. For every New England situation, you get caught into a Jets or a Browns. And that's exactly the kind of franchise you don't want to be when you go through a rebuilding effort. So we'll see what happens. It's definitely a big year for Baker Mayfield. He has to prove himself. He definitely has to play a lot better for this offense to go anywhere. Again, where Baker Mayfield goes, this offense goes. If he doesn't go, then you're in big trouble. And I know you're going to have that running game going. And hopefully Baker and is healthy. Bucky is healthy, and that offensive line can stay healthy. The biggest part of this team and the biggest key to this team, it's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. You got to stay healthy in 2026. What else, Realtor?
Yeah, no, so that's it. So I just would like to say thank you again because it's always very fun. And go Bucs.
Yeah, man, go Bucs. Thank you very much. Realtor David Zuzman, he said go Bucs, go Bucs.
Wait up, no, what? Wait up.
Go Bucs.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. Todd?
Fire the cannon.
Yes.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Yes, it is. All right, open phone line, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Let's see. Realberg, let's see. Good show. Peter, appreciate the entertainment for clueless people. All right. Realberg native. Great show, Peter. Hope USF makes it to the dance. Go Gators, go Bucs, and go Rays. Yes. Well, USF has already made it to the dance. They're playing Louisville. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, on Thursday. And then the Florida Gators are playing on Friday here locally in Tampa. Now, all of a sudden, Gainwell is going to be better than Bucky. I did not say that. I said he was an underrated player that will definitely help the passing game out. Let's go out to, I believe this is Brightside Broadway. Is this Brightside Broadway?
Yes, it is.
What's going on, boss? How you doing on a Monday night?
Doing good. Peter, I don't think it's on Baker.
It's not on Baker for you, huh?
I think he was injured for a majority of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had some injuries that he didn't tell people about.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe he knew if he was out, what would happen with the backup quarterback.
Well, they didn't have confidence in Teddy Bridgewater. You know that because they had an opportunity to play him when they played him against the Rams. It looked like a complete disaster. Not that, the Bucs were going to come back in that game, but they had other opportunities, and it certainly seemed like Baker was not 100%. So that's why you upgrade that backup quarterback situation by going with the Jake Browning, who's played in games. And even though he had his backup position taken away from Joe Flacco, he's been able to prove before that he can come into some critical games and win you some games. He's not going to lose you games. I think that's important. And then again, they're looking possibly at, Anthony Richardson for, a young player. Maybe they can develop. They liked him coming out of the draft. You're not going to have to give up too much for him. Probably a second day pick at this point, a late round pick, maybe 5th, 6th, 7th round pick, something along those lines. And you're giving up a pick for a player that was the 4th overall player in the draft just a couple of years ago. So they're looking at the value of that, and I don't hate it. I absolutely don't hate it at this point.
I know. And we can't forget also that, like you just mentioned, we're using our second and third string because our first string was injured.
Yeah, your first string is injured, especially your offensive line. And then on top of it, I forgot about it because Emeka Egbuka played so well. But you were missing, 3 of your top wide receivers. And you had Godwin coming off an injury. You had Evans, who was out. And McMillan coming back from a neck injury, which he was lucky to even come back. Though you saw how that worked out. That was crazy. Good thing he was able to come back. So, yeah, I mean, those factors alone, and then no running game and the new offensive coordinator, it was a disaster to say the least sometimes with that offense. And still, with all that being said, they were 6-2. What happened the second half of the year?
And you can only do what your offensive coordinator allows you to do.
Which we find out is not a lot at this point. Not a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, Brightside, what else?
I'm looking forward to this season. I'm looking forward to camp, and I'm looking forward to the draft.
I'm definitely looking forward to it too. Right around the corner, my friend. The draft's right around the corner. The season is right around the corner. So we will see what the Bucs do and what their plans are going forward. Brightside, appreciate the time as always. Use the second call if you want to, okay?
Go Bucs and fire those cannons.
Oh, he said it. Go Bucs. Go Bucs. Go Bucs.
Wait up, little boy. Stop. Wait up.
Go Bucs.
It's exciting.
Go Bucs.
Fire the cannon.
Go Bucs. All right, open phone line, 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. We'll go out to TikTok. Any comments there? No comments. Thank you very much for tuning in. Anyway it goes. Instagram Live, no comments there. Of course, let's see. Okay, what's going to be funny is when Baker doesn't get it done again in 2026, we will make him the highest paid quarterback, just like all the other players besides Wirfs, who doesn't deserve their extensions. I definitely would have to say here, Antoine Winfield Jr. deserved an extension. Wirfs deserved the extension. Let's go out to CSB brother Cole. Cole, welcome to the Evolution. What's going on tonight, my friend, here on a Monday night?
What's going on? Listen, I just wanted to say that the NCAA tournament is coming up.
Yes.
And I'm getting so pumped for USF's trip into the NCAA tournament.
Yes.
I'm telling you, you hear it here first. Last I checked, it was a 5-point favored. Louisville is favored by 5. I say take USF, take the points, take them to the bank. This team can play with anybody big.
Yes, they can.
Anybody that's any one of these top 4
well coached
seeds.
Well coached, play defense, tough, good guard play, can shoot the 3. That's a big time key for any team.
And they lead the nation in field goals made and
Yes.
field goals attempted, or
Yes.
free throws attempted and made.
It's a good
They
thing.
are very, very, very good.
How far do you think they go at this point, Cole?
I think they go to the Sweet 16.
Okay. I think I agree with you on that. I definitely agree. All right.
I think they go as far as the Sweet 16, and it's a toss up as to whether they get to the. I don't know that they get to the regional final, but I think they get through the first weekend. I really do.
Okay. All right, my friend. We'll see how it works out. How about the Florida Gators? I know you're not watching them, right? But they're going to be in the Tampa Bay area. How far do they go?
They are. I checked before they were announced. I checked because the birthday's coming up this Saturday.
Wow! Happy birthday, buddy! Oh,
so I was looking to celebrate. So I went to go look at the tickets. So the cheapest one I found was $490, and that's per ticket.
That's good enough to suck right there.
The Gators were announced.
It's good to stay home, my friend. Save your money. Stay home.
Yeah, well, I have a good TV. I mean, there's some really good views on that one. That's insane. I mean, I'd have to go deep into the savings for that kind of crap.
Yes.
I don't have that much cheddar, bro.
That's it. There you go. Exactly. Even if I had that much cheddar, I would still be staying home and saving my money.
Well, I'm not as popular an Uber driver as you, man. That's all.
Well,
that
listen,
is,
I'm
gonna take driving around those big high rollers like you do.
I'm going to take advantage of it because the surges are going to be high this weekend because people are going to be town, especially Gator fans, and they're going to need rides. And I'm going to try to watch, but I'll probably just listen on radio because I do have an interest. But then again, the money is there. When those surges kick up, they're like $30 to $40 a ride. So basically you click on the surge, and if there's a ride to Odessa, that ride becomes, instead of a $30 ride, it becomes a $70 to $80 ride. So you do enough of those. You do like 5 or 6 of those. Yeah. And then you're pretty good at that point. Then you can afford some things. But it'll be a good weekend.
You still can't afford a ticket to the game, but you know what I'm saying?
I can listen to the game in my Tesla on the radio while making money.
Yeah, and you don't even have to drive. You don't even have to steer at this point with the Teslas.
Well, I do that. Everybody's always asking me, like, do you do the self-driving thing? I'm like, no, because I'm scared of what happens in the first Total Recall where, you remember he gets into the car and it's a little taxi guy. And he goes, hey, how you doing? And you make that guy mad. And then next thing you know, he takes your car and drives it into a wall. That's what I'm kind of scared of happening with the self-driving.
That's our generation, bro. We are so scared of AI. We've grown up with Terminator and
what
all
do they
this
tell
craziness.
us? What do they tell us?
Skynet coming up.
Skynet is taking over, and yet here we are using AI. And I'm guilty of it. I had AI write the title and everything like that tonight. We do the AI with the clips and the reels and stuff. We're all guilty of it, but we don't learn.
I'm not guilty of it. I don't even touch ChatGPT, man. I am a 50-year-old and I'm an 80-year-old in a 50-year-old's body, bro.
I got you, man. I got you. All right. What else, my friend?
Well, I know you and I disagree on the Buccaneers season, so we'll let it go with that. But I think Florida has a serious shot at the title.
Well, what did we just
really do.
Let's go back to that. What did we just read about the Bucs? You think that it's going to be a disaster at this point?
I think it's a tank job.
Okay.
I do. I think it's a tank job, and I think they're trying to either, if they're going to go for they're going to make a passive effort to get to the division title, and I think it's going to go south. And I think that this is Baker's last year as the Buccaneers quarterback. I think that they're not giving away their number 1 pick because they're going to have a top 10 pick, and they're going to try and get a quarterback. And this thing about Richardson, I'd rather have Browning 24/7 and twice on Sunday. I like Browning as a backup quarterback. Richardson, I've seen too much of him. My trainer was a Florida fan. He's not very good, bro. He's just not very good.
Wasn't very good coming out.
He's the 4th pick. Yeah. He was the 4th pick coming out, but he's the 4th pick coming out because of all of his athletic traits, not anything to do on the field with his brain and his I mean, not brain, but I mean his
reading a defense. Yes, I get it. And the
yes, his
completion
reading a
percentage
defense. Yes,
under 60%. I think like 54%. Didn't get a lot of starts in college football.
Far be it for me to be Al Campanis. I wasn't trying to go there, but
Right,
you know what
it.
I'm saying.
I
It's
get
just
it.
this guy is just not a good quarterback.
Well,
he's a great athlete, but not a good quarterback.
We'll see if the Bucs take a flyer on him. Appreciate the call, Cole. All right.
All right, man.
All right, CSB brother. There you go. Good stuff right there. Open phone line. I think we had somebody call from New York. So I'm curious to see who this is. I'm going to go ahead and try out, see who this is.
I'm sorry. The person you are trying to reach has a voicemail.
Well, we can't do that, can we? So whoever tried to call in, if you were trying to call the Sports Web, let me know. Call back. All right, so we'll go ahead and go out to him. Welcome to the Sports Web here on a Monday night. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, welcome to the Sports Web.
Thomas the Tank Engine is the greatest show of all time.
What now? Hello? Okay. All right. Well, that was interesting.
That's great enough to suck right there.
What did they say? What did they say? The greatest show of all time? What was the greatest show of all time? My show, the great. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You didn't have to be so expedient on it. You could have just stayed on the line at this point if you were calling my show. All right, let's go out to Riller to David Zuzman using his second call. What's going on, man?
Okay, now so I just wanted to touch this idea that it's a complete tank job, and that
tank
maybe maybe
they're tanking,
Baker
man.
Mayfield is not. Yeah, this is what they said. Right? Like a tank job. I don't think that's possible, but if this is really what Jason Light is trying to do, then it would be unbelievably stupid. Because right now, I know a lot of teams that would trade very valuable draft capital to get Baker Mayfield, right?
Right.
So why would you run Baker Mayfield for another year, expecting him to fail, to then start all over if you could get at least like a good, valuable draft picks for him?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm calling, because if in the end of the day, that's the plan, and they're trying to do a lot of bad things now on free agency because they want to go as bad as possible, that would be just very, very stupid to burn Baker Mayfield in such a way and get no draft capital in return.
Well, I agree with that. And then if you were going to go with the tank job, you would have fired the coach. You would have fired the GM. You would have gotten rid of Vita Vea. You would have got rid of Chris Godwin. You wouldn't even tried to re-sign a Levante David or a Mike Evans. You would have got rid of more players than what you've got rid of here. And a lot of people say, well, they let a lot of free agents go. Well, yeah, because they were 8-9, and those free agents they let go were nothing to write home about. Logan Hall, nice player. 2 years ago, it looked like he had some promise, but he's been a bust at this point. Good luck to him in Houston. Jamel Dean, we continue to talk about it. I say it, wildly inconsistent. Can't stay on the field. Doesn't have interceptions. Had a good year this year and a contract year. What's that mean? It means a team's going to overpay like the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's going to walk out the door and say, well, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are more of a Super Bowl team. They're used to winning. They haven't won anything. I mean, this is like some of the stuff that's being put out there in the narratives that are being created about, they're tanking, they're doing this, they're doing that. Do I think the pressure is on? Yes, of course, because you sign Muhammad to a 1-year, $6 million deal. You sign Ashawn Robinson to a 1-year, $10 million deal. So you've got to get it done this year, and some of these players will come back. Some of them won't. But if it doesn't work out, then more than likely you're definitely going to draft a young quarterback. You're definitely moving on from a Baker Mayfield. You're moving on from this coaching staff. You're moving on from everybody at this point. And a lot of Bucs fans, they kind of want this. And I'm telling you, be careful what you wish for, because it may not necessarily be what you want in the long run. What else relates to David Zuzman?
Yeah, no, and most of the time, whenever people say that, they also connect to Arch Manning. And Arch Manning, he's a really bad quarterback. I mean, if you were to do all of that to then draft Arch Manning, then we're going to end up like the Jets. So
well, you want to end up like the Jets? Yeah, I don't know if anybody's going to end up like the Jets. What do they haven't won a Super Bowl since 68, 69 with Joe Namath there. The Cleveland Browns, the graveyard for quarterbacks and for players, and where players go to die. So yeah, I hope you don't end up like that, but that's what I keep on telling you. You want to fire a coach, end up firing a coach, every 2 to 3 years. And I get it. They've given Todd Bowles some time here. We'll see if he's able to overcome this pressure. We'll see if Jason Light's able to, put the pieces there to where you can win the NFC South and maybe make a run. And we'll see what happens. But a lot remains to be seen at this point. But to say they're tanking, I don't think they're tanking. I just think, again, maybe they don't necessarily have the money, and that's disappointing because I know they can have some money, but they're choosing not to spend the money at this point. So we'll see what they do in the draft, and they still have a second wave of free agency. What else, my friend?
No, and then the last little thing. I'm sick and tired of people saying that Todd Bowles needs to get fired. It's getting really old, and I think if people, they need to evaluate what kind of players he had at his disposal, because it's very easy to say, 3-28. Okay. But, what players did he have that he didn't use that he should be using in that particular game?
Right.
Jonathan
Vildor.
I think we need to give him better weapons.
Right.
If we want him to do better, we need to get him better players.
Agree. And even Booger said that on the interview. It doesn't matter if you bring Buddy Ryan in, the great Buddy Ryan, you dig him up out of the grave, you bring him up as a defensive coordinator. If you don't have the horses and the team and the talent to run the defense, you're not going anywhere. Great stuff, Realtor David Zuzman. Appreciate you as always, okay?
All right. Go Bucs.
Yes, he says go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs.
Wait up, little boy. Wait up.
Go Bucs.
It's exciting.
It is exciting.
Fire the cannon.
Absolutely exciting. All right, let's go out to TikTok. We got an Eagles fan in the house. Melissa, go Birds. I'll say go Bucs, but okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for tuning in, Melissa. I appreciate that. Okay. Let's see. All right. Sitton says we need one more wide receiver. King Cook says, I've been watching Bucs games longer than you've been alive. Pipe down, young Buck. Pipe down. Alex says, you blame Baker 2 times on 2 separate occasions. Peter called you out when it wasn't even on him. King Cook, it's exciting that it is exciting.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. Don't forget, they beat the Seahawks and the 49ers. Their backup wasn't good enough to beat us. Just remember that. Fire those cannons. We're about to shock the league this year. I like it, Bella Bell.
Fire the cannon.
Love it. Again, Realtor David Zuzman, thanks a lot for the 2 calls tonight. The biggest issue in the Bucs organization is Jason Light. Alex says, nope. Alex, again, it's on the Glazers to still believe that Todd Bowles is the answer after just fired his entire coaching staff. Definitely on the Glazers. King Cook, can we please stop saying Baker had injuries the team didn't know about? That's not even possible in today's age. They knew about the injuries. They just felt more comfortable going with him than going with the backup. That's what we meant. AQM had more sacks than the top 2 edge rushers that got big deals last season. Very good points. Jalen Phillips, how many sacks did he have? And then, of course, Trey Hendrickson, only 4.5 sacks last year. So good point, Chris Cole. Definitely bringing it there. You're exactly right. I'm not blaming it all on Bowles either. It's the entire front office down to Todd Bowles. Realtor David Zuzman, biggest Bucs problems, Jason Light. Glazer, stupid fans, no stability in offensive coordinator position. Alex, that's exactly why Mike left. Go Bucs. We already did that. Go Bucs.
Fire the cannon.
Okay, no doubt Evans was right to leave under the circumstances. Realberg native. Laugh out loud how Light is so stupid if he signed the great Baker Mayfield at Realtor David Zuzman. You signed Mayfield because he was very cheap. Jason Light signs cheap and got lucky. Mayfield still got a lot left in the tank. Realberg native. I wonder how many teams and offensive coordinators Sam Darnold goes online to blame and call out because he can't get the job done. And Baker has had 10 times the talent versus Sam Darnold. Venezuela versus USA tomorrow night. Thank you for the update. How many injuries and shuffles did that offensive line endure last season? Can you answer the question, please? Realberg native. You are correct. Light went cheap and got a good quarterback, but that quarterback, along with the defense, has led to everyone on the hot seat. Mike leaving, Bucs fan forever. Thomas the Tank Engine. Okay, that's what it is. Now we're talking. I love Thomas the Tank. Who the hell is Thomas the Tank? The Bucs offensive line suffered injury season ending. Yes, but Baker still threw for 36, 93, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. 9 interceptions were during the must-win games. Alex says, and the defense gave up 3rd and 28, 4th and 15, 4th and 14, I believe. We ain't talking about that in the dead last pass-ranked defense. Why are we not discussing that? Alex says, Baker has faults, agreed, but so does the rest of the entire team. I mean, how many blocked punts did we have? How many blocked extra points and field goals? Yes, and Baker threw 5 interceptions during must-win games along with the 3rd and 28 mishap. Alex, you still keep going back to one man. Laugh out loud. It's a team loss. Real Berg, I agree the defense has been bad. They need to upgrade, but your quarterback is not showing the talent or accuracy to get you to a Super Bowl, even the 3rd round of the playoffs. Alex, the entire team is bad. I mean, how many block punts? Real Berg native. Alex keeps on blaming the defense and Light. Alex, and you keep blaming Baker, and I said team loss. Relax, kid. And then we'll go back out to Chris Cole. Glazers are not letting Light spend any money. It certainly seems like it. We'll read the rest of this article from Gainwell. Again, this from ESPN. Gainwell really excels on passing downs. Recorded 73 receptions, 486 yards last season. And Pittsburgh, including 87 receiving yards over expected per NFL Next Gen stats that included both a positive catch rate over expected, positive yak over expected. The Steelers had Gainwell on the field 77% of 3rd and longs, so he can absolutely be a value add. So there you go. So what do you give the grade for the Bucs and free agency at the beginning? It's not over yet, but the start, I give them a C, possibly could be a B. It could improve because you have a second wave of a free agency, and of course, you have the draft coming up in less than a month. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in here on a Monday night. All the calls, all the texts, it means a lot. We'll go out to the sponsors again of this show. It always comes back to Up the Block Barbershop. You don't have to go far. It's Up the Block Barbershop, 4946 Moog Road in Holiday, Florida. Whether you want a haircut, a beard trim, a fade, they got you covered. Go see my favorite barber, Ricky, and all the great and talented barbers at Up the Block Barbershop, and tell them the Rolex reporter Peter Blake sent you. And then if you have not subscribed, you should. Get on the horn right now after the show. Go on YouTube. Look for Bucs Latest. Cooking up something tonight. We'll have it up there by 11 a.m. in the morning every day, 5 days a week, 10 to 15 minutes. It's Bucs Latest on the Fan Arch Network. Remember, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on X if you want to. And do 3 things as we wrap it up for the night. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, especially you Go Bucs fans, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Thank you very much, Lamar. Appreciate the gift. And as always, to end off this show, as we always say, Go Bucs.